Hey guys, you know what? I was just sitting around thinking about cool games to play at parties. Do you ever go to a party, especially when maybe you don't know everybody, but you do like a trivia thing to kind of break the ice? Well, I thought of one, just popped into my head. I've played it before and it's a whole lot of fun, but it's called the Fantasy Golf Foursome. Now, you don't have to be a golfer for this at all, but basically, if you could pick 3 other people to play golf with from any walk of life, any time in history, alive or dead, who would those 3 people be? That's a lot to think about, right? When you start thinking about, my God, there's so many different people that would be so cool, to spend 4 hours with, because that's about how long it takes to play golf. Who would you pick? That's really, really hard. But you know what? I thought it'd be a whole heck of a lot of fun. So if we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about golf and foursomes for golf, what better place to do that than on the golf course? So let's go. So we're going to take a short ride over to the golf course. I've been fortunate enough to live on a golf course for the last 21 years. So this ride is really not going to take very long at all. So we're here already. We're going to pull it in, get ourselves set up, and we'll start playing this pretty cool game. So here we are talking about the ultimate golf fantasy foursome, right? So when you think about this, it's such a, we talked about picking anybody from any walk of life, alive or dead, across all of time. It's such a vast pool of people. Like, we can't just pick 3 people out and be done with it. That's no fun. We got to make this thing last. We got to make it a little more interesting. So I thought we'd come up with, the way we would structure the game is we'll come up with some sub brackets, right, in a couple different categories, and then we'll pick foursomes for each of those categories, and then we'll have an ultimate fantasy foursome at the end. I thought we could do that. That way it'll be a lot more fun. We get to pick from a couple different categories of people and see what we come up with, and then at the very end we'll pick 3 of those to make our ultimate fantasy foursome. So when you think about this, I thought, we could have a few different subcategories, and I kind of divided them up, and these are the 4 that I came up with: sports, entertainment, politics, and then history, okay? So what we'll do is, for the sports, politics, and entertainment, you can pick anyone alive or dead, any time in history, for any of those categories. For the history category, we're going to pick somebody that's dead. They got to be dead, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So for today's video, being the first one, I think we're going to start with, how about sports? So to start with, I figured, when I'm going through this stuff in my mind, like, you want to pick people that, in all these categories, that have, accomplished something, right? You want somebody that's kind of famous, but you also want somebody who's got a bit of character, right? I don't want to be on the golf course for 4 hours with somebody that accomplished a lot of stuff, but they're boring as hell, right? I don't want that. So when you're thinking through these things, you can pick somebody that has a little bit of character, that's fun to be around. When you think about sports, right, you think about the sports that I love, and everybody, you'll do the same thing. You're going to draw from people that you really, are close to in your own life in terms of your rooting interest, right, for sports. So if you're a big, Yankee fan, you probably pick somebody from the Yankees at some point in history. Now, for all of us, we're going to pick from teams and sports, at least in the sports category, that we like, that we're drawn to, right? You think about the 4 major sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You throw golf up in there, soccer, biggest worldwide sport ever, right? Olympic sports, huge. A lot of people with big accomplishments there. Auto racing, cycling, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's just such a vast, all of these categories are so vast, you can pick anybody. But for me, and probably for you, you're gonna kind of skew everything towards your own rooting interests. So if you have a favorite sport, favorite teams, you're probably gonna look at those kind of people to bring in, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Now I'm a big football fan. It's probably my #1 sport, baseball right there with it. So I'm going to start thinking about people from the football world. And I mean, right away, you go to somebody like Pat Mahomes, right? Just won the Super Bowl. He, huge accomplishments early in his career. I'm sure he's awesome at golf because he's awesome at everything, and he probably kicked my butt. But I look at him and I say, I don't know. He hasn't accomplished. Obviously a Super Bowl's huge, but he hasn't won like 5 of them. He hasn't been around that long, so there's not a lot of history there. Might be a fun guy too, but I don't know much about him. That's not a guy for me. You look at people from the past, like Brett Favre, right? I'm sure he'd be a blast. He accomplished a lot. He's probably a hoot to be around for 4 hours, playing golf. I gotta look from the football side. I mean, if there's one guy that strikes me as somebody who, first of all, he's into golf, second of all, accomplished a ton, won a Super Bowl, or 2. I think he won 2 Super Bowls, and is a lot of fun just in general. How about Peyton Manning? I think you gotta put Peyton Manning on my sports fantasy foursome. Manning was just in that thing earlier this year with Tiger Woods and Tom Brady and Phil playing golf. He was a hoot there. He's done amazing commercials. He's funny as heck. I think he has to be up there. He would be a fun guy to go golf with. Oh man, so let's keep thinking through this. I mean, I'm a huge baseball fan. The whole family's big baseball fans. You think of people like Babe Ruth. I don't know much about Babe Ruth. He certainly accomplished a lot, and from what I heard, he was a pretty wild guy on the town way back in the day when he was cruising through New York. But I don't know much about the guy. I'm not a Yankee fan, I'm a Red Sox fan, so that's out. How about Kurt Schilling? He went off the deep end a little bit, but he went through, with the whole bloody sock thing in the 2004 World Series. What a story that is. But is that one story enough for 4 hours? I don't know. I'm not sure I want to go there. And, you got Ted Williams, one of the best hitters of all time. I don't know what kind of guy the guy was. If he'd be fun on the golf course for 4 hours. So I'm kind of getting off of some of the baseball stuff. I can't really think of anybody there would be super fun to be with. You got present day guys like the Cubs. They're fun. Rizzo, be a blast. Bryant, be a blast to go out with as well. But again, they're young. They did win the World Series and broke the curse for the Cubs. So that would be a cool story to tell. But they're young, don't have a lot of history, tons of experience. So I'm going to stay away from kind of the younger guys, I think. So the baseball one's a tough one. One character that does come to mind, also from the football world, and somebody that I grew up with admiring and has proven to be a champion with numerous Super Bowls, and also has proven himself to be very entertaining in his post-football life, is a guy named Terry Bradshaw, Pittsburgh Steelers. The guy's a true champion, 4 or 5 Super Bowls. I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot. Steel curtain days of Pittsburgh football. You're talking rough and tough, hard-nosed football. He's out there getting his butt kicked, but still, with him, Franco Harris, Rocky Bleier, Lynn Swann, Stallworth, all of the Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, that whole crew, they did some amazing things. And, since he quit football, which is, he retired a while ago, he's been on the Fox broadcast, and he has proven himself to be an absolute blast. He is funny as heck, and I can imagine with all the stories of the Super Bowl years, along with his personality, getting him on a golf course would be a blast. I think it'd be great. I know I'm going 2 football guys here, but I think I gotta go Terry Bradshaw. So we got to pick one more person, and got to give this a lot of thought. There's so many different people. If you're a soccer guy, you can go with, Messi and, whoever. There's just tons of people. Hockey, Bobby Orr. You go Olympics, you can go Mary Lou Retton. How about her, right? Are you kidding me with that? What she did back in the day? Gosh, there's so many people, it's tough. We're down to our last slot in the sports fantasy foursome. And man, I got to tell you, if we're talking about golf, that's what a foursome's for. We're on a golf course. We got to go with a golfer to be in the sports fantasy foursome, right? So you think about golfers, again, so many amazing golfers, people who have accomplished so much. You go to Jack Nicklaus with all the Masters and holds the record for major wins with 18. You can go Gary Player, Arnold Palmer. I mean, there's tons of people you can draw from that have great history in golf, accomplished a ton, are probably a lot of fun on the golf course. But when I think golf and I think accomplishments, there's only one guy that comes to mind, probably because I grew up in this era, but I gotta be honest with you, for my final spot on the Fantasy Golf Foursome sports category, I have got to put in Mr. Red on Sunday, Tiger Woods. When you're talking Tiger Woods, you have to look at everything the guy's accomplished. I mean, he's got 15 major wins, only 3 behind Jack Nicklaus. For a long time, we thought he'd pass him. You know, then he ran into some injury stuff and all of that, but he's still trying to get there. But even without that, who cares? It's 15 major wins. He's had tons of other tournament wins. You know, just his insights on the game of golf. Just to be out there 4 hours and be able to ask him anything about golf itself, right? How do I hit this shot? How do I do this? How do I do that? What am I doing wrong? That kind of stuff. That'd be just incredible to get that kind of insight the whole time you're out there with him. And I think he's a pretty fun guy. I think I got a solid foursome that's going to be entertaining and fun. And in the case of Tiger, I'm going to learn some golf stuff. So my sports fantasy foursome final answer is Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw, Tiger Woods, and me. Okay, I think that was a fun first round, getting to our ultimate golf fantasy foursome. The sports bracket is in the books, and we'll see you next time when we dive into either entertainment, history, or politics. I'm not sure which one we're doing next, but we'll see you then.